Let's do a deep dive comparison on two different bass drum batter heads. We're going to take a look at DW's stock head and see how that holds up against the Evans EQ4. First up, the DW head, or as they like to call it, the DW coated clear bass drum head. For those not familiar, DW's heads are made by Reso, so in this instance the head is pretty close to the Reso Powerstroke 3. There are two key differences though, the first being that the head is actually partially coated, hence why they call it the coated clear head. That coating, it should slightly warm up the sound, but only a little bit since only the outer part of the head is coated. The other big difference, it's on the back side of the head. These heads, they have this extra layer of plastic around the outer side. When you hit the head, that plastic opens up briefly and then closes, choking the head, so you get a tighter sound, a more staccato sound out of your bass drum with it. On DW's version, that plastic is 1.25 inches long, as opposed to Reso's Powerstroke 3, where it's 2.25 inches long. Now, in theory, this means the DW version will have a less choked sound, but the practical impact for you may vary based on how much stuff you've got inside your bass drum to muffle it. For example, inside my DW, I still have those pillows installed. Switching over to the Evans head, I picked this up because it seemed to be the equivalent of the DW version. This also has a 10 mil thickness to it, so that's the same as the DW. It also has that outer ring of plastic, extra plastic on the backside. Evans refers to this as the control ring. And the size of that control ring on the Evans head, it's 2.25 inches long. So that's 1 inch longer than DW's version, or the same length as Reso's Powerstroke 3. Unlike DW's head, this head is totally clear, so there's no partial coating applied. One thing I wasn't expecting is that the Evans head does seem to fit a little bit too wide. It fits on the shell just fine, but when you go to put the hoop on, it doesn't fit on quite snugly. As you can see here, I can kind of rotate it back and forth. So I'm gonna have to really pull that hoop down over the head to get that to actually fit. In the case of the DW head, I didn't have that problem. The hoop just fit on perfectly. Speaking of the drum, our sound source today is a DW Collectors. This is a PurpleCore Maple 18x22. And I did use a tune bot when switching the head, so the tuning should be pretty comparable. I also apply the Evans branded bass drum beater protectors, the patches I think they call them. I put those on both heads prior to recording these samples. The sound samples that are in isolation, those are using an internal mic that's running into a Neve style preamp, but with the EQs flat. From there, it's going into a distressor and then into the computer. For the full mix, I'm also using an outside mic to a Neve flat EQ compressor, and also a subfrequency mic that's going to an API, then the computer. Once in the DAW, there's no other processing on those tracks except for some time and phase correction. So there's not going to be any gating on those. Other tracks like my snare and my overheads will have additional processing. So one thing that definitely would not have been noticeable in those recordings is how much play the bass drum head has. I found that the Evans seemed to have a lot more give to it. So if I push in hard, it moved away more. Now, if you're actually tuning your head a lot higher than I am, or if you're not doing anything super fast, you're probably not going to notice. But if you are tuning low and doing fast 30-second note work, then maybe the Evans is going to be a little too unresponsive for you. Other than that, did you guys have any preference on the two heads? Did you like the tone of one more? Did you think that the difference cut through in the mix? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Now, we've spent a lot of time talking about batter side heads, but what about different Reso side heads for your bass drum? Well, you can find a little comparison of those right over here or in the description below. Until next time, peace.